You're listening to Imperfect, the podcast. This is your host, Kyle Dangler. Today we're going to have guest Pavin Smith, first base prospect for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Went to the University of Virginia, so we're just going to get on the phone with him now and get going. Hey, Pavin, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, you good?
Yeah, it's Pavin,
Yeah.
by the way.
Oh, sorry. How you doing,
No, you're
Pavin?
good. I'm good. How are you?
Good, yes. If you just want to get into it, we could just get going.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah, so I mean, just for you, just wanted to ask. I was talking to some other guys, in a similar position as you, and not in similar positions, just guys around baseball in general, whether being a prospect or being in the majors. For you this past year, how did it go for you? And I mean, how did you really be able to improve on your game and you know find your craft, but also stay healthy and stay safe?
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. Never in a million years would you be going into spring training not thinking that the season was going to happen. In March, and just like the season's just canceled for until further notice. It's super crazy, super surreal feeling, and you're just all of a sudden going back home for essentially another off season, getting back to doing what you've been doing for the last 4 months instead of playing games. But once we got going, I got to the alternate site. It was definitely different. There was obviously no fans anywhere, but no writers. No one can see how you're doing. No one can see what you're doing.
You still there? You still there, Pavin?
Hello?
Sorry, yeah, you cut out. But you were just saying how you were just going to the alternate site and everything.
Yeah, so I took it as a opportunity because there's no media. These stats essentially don't count, although you're getting evaluated by obviously your coaches and people in the front office. So I took it as an opportunity, to kind of try some things that maybe I wouldn't try during a season where wins matter and helping your teammates out and stuff. So I've tried a couple of different things that I thought could help me, and end up uh, did helping me. And most people kind of saw the alternate site as this kind of stinks. There's the games don't matter. You're only
Yeah.
playing like 4 or 5 innings every day. But I took it as an opportunity, to get better and find myself through it all.
For you, getting your feet wet, obviously in the majors last year, no, like you mentioned, no fans, but getting that experience and being able to get that experience, in a season of a lot of uncertainty, but getting that experience and just getting the kind of your feet wet in the majors. How do you think that helped you, going into this off season and to looking into next season?
Yeah, I think it helps with my confidence a lot. Knowing there's a lot of unwritten rules in baseball where like rookies. So like going in, there's a lot of unknowns, and I think it kind of takes a weight off your shoulders. Knowing like how to go about your business every day. Knowing some of the guys, getting to know them, not feeling like you have to prove yourself to the veteran players because you already have a little bit. So I think that helps a lot, and yeah. So and then for this season, being able to go into it knowing that you've been there before, you've done it before, you can do it again, and just trying to build off what I did last year.
For you, always being a highly touted prospect with the Diamondbacks, just wanted to ask you, obviously you went to college, first round pick of the Diamondbacks. Looking at, from that point when you were drafted until, making your major league debut, how much pressure or how much, because obviously, fans, know you, being such a highly touted prospect, you're just going to be someone that's watching the organization, especially. How much did that impact how you went about your business, or how much did it not impact what you did on a daily basis? From that point on.
Yeah, at first, I don't think I took it as well. Being able to, I was trying to, prove them right. Then, kind of took it as, geez, I'm the first round pick. I better make it to the majors as quick as possible because that's what they're expecting of me. But once I kind of got that on my head and got back to, what got me there, I was trying to do all these things, to try to get better, and I kind of resort back to what I did in college and what got me to this point, which helped me a lot.
For you, being obviously known for your offensive power and consistency at the plate, for you, was something that you were definitely trying to improve as you climbed up the ladder of the minor leagues, the defensive side of the ball. I mean, what do you really think? Was your biggest, maybe struggle when you first got drafted, and something that you've been able to refine and, really just, got you to this point, like you mentioned before?
Yeah, I think defense gives you opportunities in the big leagues. If you can't play defense, then they can't exactly put you out in the game because, you keep making errors in the game, that's going to cost your team wins. So I think being able to play multiple positions, at first I was just playing first base, but being able to get into the outfield, show them I can move around a little bit, just created more opportunities and more chances for me to get into games.
You mentioned that outfield potentially getting and any opportunity possible. Had Nolan Jones on similar position as you, just in terms of being at one position, but he's trying to also move around. He's in the Indians organization, their number one prospect. But for you, getting that opportunity and being able to float around the field, how comfortable are you at the outfield positions? Obviously, it's going to be a work in progress as get more adjusted to spin rates of balls and the directional stuff. But how comfortable are you outside of your first base defensive skills?
Yeah, so I think every day comes with more experience and helps you get better. But I also played outfield in college, so it wasn't just like they just threw me out there. So I played it a lot in college. Played it the majority of my freshman year, and then every time that Adam Hazley, or he plays for the Phillies, he was a pitcher too, and he would go pitch, and I would play the outfield even my junior year. So I took a couple of years off from it, so I had to get back to shagging and just seeing some balls off the bat that really helped. And funny thing is, Nolan Jones was committed to Virginia and ended up going out of high school. So I saw him around campus during his official visit, but he didn't end up coming.
Nah. Awesome. But for you, being such a highly, touted prospect, like I mentioned before, getting to the big leagues, obviously, you made it to the highest point. But what do you think it's going to take, or what are you really trying to improve on this offseason to stick around in the big leagues for, the next decade or so?
Yeah, they say the easy part's getting there, the harder part's staying there. So yeah. I think it's just consistency. If I can consistently be myself and consistently work on getting better each and every day. Try not to have any too downward spirals, being able to, fix and make adjustments quicker, because I think that's what it takes to stay there.
For you, what was the hardest part of getting to the big leagues, once you were there? Was it, being a professional around the other guys, maybe being nervous around them? Was it adjusting to big league pitching, the travel? I mean, what really was it, the biggest struggle that you were able to, overcome, going into this season when you've already done it and you've been around the majors for a little bit, so you should be more adjusted than some maybe other rookies this year?
Yeah, I think it's just, getting your feet wet, getting comfortable, and not being so nervous and so tense. Getting that confidence every day, getting reps, because at the end of the day, it is baseball, and you've been playing the same game your whole life. And I think the other thing, I don't think the pitching, I think the pitching, the stuff is similar to, especially when you're at the alternate site. You only invite all our prospects, so I pretty much just face prospect after prospect who will be in the major leagues eventually. So I think that helped me a lot. And yeah, so I don't know what I was saying, but
yeah, you're good.
What was the question again?
No, just
the biggest struggle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think going into this year, it'll be a lot better. Uh, you have so many more tools in the big leagues, being able to see
Yeah.
games on every night, being able to see the pitching that you're going to face. So, I think every day you just get a little bit better.
For you, you mentioned college, obviously, going to UVA. Some great players, including yourself, that were there at the time you were there, and in the past and present. Going to college, getting drafted out of high school, in the later rounds, obviously, but bypassing that, going to college. How much, looking back, do you think that helped you to get you to where you're at this point in not only your career but your life?
Yeah, I think college, although or obviously helps you in baseball, but I think it just helps you, become a man and to deal with the adversity in baseball that is inevitably going to come, where you're going to have struggles and stuff. And I think just college, helps you balance that. You're in practice and you're thinking about this 10-page paper you got to write, and you got to just balance your time. And it's a lot easier once you get to pro ball to only focus on baseball. You got to worry about all that extra stuff. I just think college, I think you help you mature a lot more, being able to deal with adults, deal with people that are like in your front office and coaches, being able to talk to them, and a lot of the veteran guys are older, so being able to keep conversations with them and not seem like a little kid.
For you, obviously there's going to be expectations for the team, and just in terms of the winning culture. Had some other guys from the Diamondbacks organization talk about the culture, so I won't bother you with that. But for you, I mean, what's kind of your real, expectation? What are you really trying to do next season? I mean, what's kind of the overall mindset going into 2021?
Well, I think my mindset is to get better every single day, and try to make the team out of spring, and then as a whole, as an organization, just going out every day, giving it your best. And I think we got a good team. I think we're a couple pieces away. Last year, it was tough in a 60-game season.
Yeah.
You have one little bad losing streak and you can't make up for it. So hopefully this year will be a little longer season, and we can get our feet under us.
For you, just in terms of mentioning coming out as number one pick, mentioning that you struggled a little bit with that at first, but overall, going to UVA, being a first round pick, you've always had the spotlight on you, just in terms of you couldn't fly under the radar per se. But for you, through your time in the minors and when you got to the major leagues, obviously there's going to be stuff on social media or online. How much do you read into that, or how much do you not read into that? Just in terms of fans or analysts analyzing your game, or just talking about the team as a whole. I mean, is that something that you find struggling, or something that you just always been able to tune out?
Yeah, I've actually I have a Twitter, but I just think that more bad stuff comes from Twitter than good stuff. You think like 100 people say like a good thing about you, and then like 2 say something that's they don't like your game or whatever, and you just constantly are thinking about those 2 things instead of the 100 positive things. So really, all that matters is what I do every day, what my coaches think, and what my teammates think, not what some analysts think. So I really stay off Twitter. I look at Instagram. There's a lot less toxic things on Instagram.
For you, in terms of mentioning there was no fans, I wanted to ask you, because it's weird. I'm sure it's weird for you, going to the ballpark, getting amped up for, a major league game, and then there being nobody in the stands. How weird was it for you? But also, did it kind of in a weird way make it easier for you, just not having to deal with the outside noise, making your debut?
Yeah, I think it, helped me a little bit, getting my feet wet in the major leagues. It's a little less. It's still nerve wracking. Like, I was still amped up every day because it was my first time in the big leagues. I'm sure the 10-year vets are like, "Gosh, this stinks with no fans," because I've been playing in the minor leagues the last 3 years, and there's not a ton of fans that go to those games. So it was kind of almost the same thing. It's funny because after every first, you have a hit, your first hit, your first home run, they do like a cool little thing in the locker room for you, and they said, we're gonna have to do it again with all your fans because these hits don't really count because there's no one there. But they're just messing around in the locker room. But I'm hoping to get some fans this year, even if it's at lower capacity. It definitely brings a different energy to the stadium, which I haven't felt
Yeah.
since probably college at the College World Series. But
For you, mentioning, getting the opportunity to, get your first hit, get your first home run. I mean, just looking back at that, obviously, you want that to be the first of many, but I mean, how exciting was that for you? Like you mentioned, I'm sure, other guys, you get a hit, per se, and, they just kind of, go about their business still. But for you, I mean, that's just a special moment, for a rookie. How was that, and how cool was it, even with, the no fans and no family aspect?
yeah, it was all still special. It's coming down to the wire too. At the end of the year, it's like
Yeah.
3 or 4 games left. I'm like, I really want, to go into the off season knowing that like I hit a home run. So uh, being able to do that before the season ended was super cool, and it's something I'll try to build off of.
For you, just in terms of the whole Diamondback organization, mentioning guys you came up with and everything. What's the mindset of the organization since day one? Since you saw it, obviously, there's going to be more attention. There's going to be more, people in the organization that are talking to you than say a 30th round pick, just because they have more invested in you. But just the overall mindset of from single A to the major leagues, the culture that you were able to get instilled in yourself and your teammates out in Arizona.
Yeah, I think when I got drafted, we were ranked like one of the lower farm systems in the whole league, and I think our GM Mike Hazen has done a really good job of getting a lot of talented players in our farm system. We got a lot of young guys coming up that are very talented and should help us win in the long run. So I think coming onto the organization as the farm system being one of the worst in the major leagues, and now it's one of the best. So it's pretty cool to see it change like that.
Now, for you, I'm sure from after college to now, you I'm sure had a timetable in your head for when obviously you wanted to get to the major leagues. Everybody just wants to go right there, but
Mm.
once the whole season got disarrayed, and you didn't know what was going to happen. Did you think, just looking back, last year was going to be the year that you made your debut, or do you just think last year was going to be a wash? I mean, how did you go into that? And I mean, when did you really know that it was a possibility to get that call?
Yeah, so I think before the year started, before knowing anything, I think a lot of things have changed. Like my thoughts changed a lot last year, as many did, because there were so many unknowns. But before the year, I was like, yeah, trying to make it up by the end of the year. I had a good year the year prior, and then it got canceled, and I was like, well, and then we were having like a holdout and all this stuff, and I was like, well, that would really stink. I'd lose my whole year,
Yeah.
like my whole 24-year-old year, which would stink. But once we got to the alternate site, it was I felt like anything could happen, especially with COVID and people testing positive. I tried to stay ready the whole time, and it was getting to September, and I was hitting well, and I was like, this every day. It was kind of like maybe today, and then it finally happened on September 9th. So it was really cool.
For you, just in terms of last baseball question for you before we wrap up, but in terms of the baseball aspects of things, uh, and where you're at now, being a kid back in high school. I mean, when did you really know that this could be a profession of yours? I mean, was it always kind of every kid has that childhood dream, but when did you really start to think that you could do this for a long period of time into your adulthood?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, I've always had that dream. I've always believed in myself, and uh, it was probably my senior year of high school, junior year of high school, where I'd already committed to Virginia, which is when I committed. They were the number one team in the nation. I thought that was really cool. And then senior year comes around, and all the scouts are coming over to your house to talk to you. And I was like, dang, maybe I should not go to college and stuff.
Yeah.
And then once you get to college, I knew it was 3 years, but having those good years at Virginia, every single year getting better, it was like, man, this could. You have your doubts along the way. You go through 0 for 20 streaks. You're like, am I really cut out for this? Everybody's got those demons in their head. When stuff's going bad. But I think the whole time from senior year on, I was like, this is my dream. I'm gonna chase it no matter what.
Awesome. For you, I just wanted to ask a couple, just simple, easy wrap-up questions before we let you go. But for you, outside of baseball, what should people know about Pavin?
Yeah. I'm a loving guy. I'm a Christ follower. My faith is big to me. Love my family. Love my friends. Love getting to do anything with people. Whether it's going to a restaurant, or playing video games. I do. It's one of my hobbies. Playing some video games with my friends at night. My wife doesn't always appreciate it when I'm on the PlayStation for a little too long, but it's kind of fun.
For you, what is your favorite video game that people should know that you play?
Yeah, so I go in streaks. I was on Call of Duty for a long time, for like the whole quarantine. It was like Call of Duty, Warzone, like every night. But just recently, I just started playing 2K again with like my player and my friends in the park. So we just like running 3-on-3 basketball games for a while. But I go in streaks. Like when the show comes out, I play the show for a little bit. Play NBA, play Call of Duty.
Now I gotta ask, since you're the first guy who brought up MLB, will you play with yourself? Just because I've played against, some of the guys that came on the podcast, I've played against some of them, and some guys, are hesitant to play with themselves online. Some guys do. I mean, are you gonna, maybe test it out?
Yeah, I don't even know if I was on the team at the end of the year. I wasn't playing it, but I mean, I think they got me at like a 60 overall, so I wouldn't be too good. So I might not use myself,
Yeah, it's funny too that you mentioned video games just with quarantine and everything, because when I was reaching out to guys to come on the podcast in the majors, it was either they were saying they were playing video games till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or they were bored out of their mind and they would come on just because there was literally nothing. There was literally nothing for you guys to do. So that's kind of interesting. But for you, I wanted to ask your first hit. Obviously, I'm sure you remember it, but can you pronounce the pitcher's name that you got the hit off of?
Yoshi, right?
Yeah, it's like Yoshi. I didn't know if you knew it or not. I was just curious.
Yoshi, what's the last name?
Hirano?
Yeah.
Yeah. For you,
I know he was on the Diamondbacks before. That's the only reason I knew the first name.
Okay. That's cool. Definitely something.
I know. I can say the name of the guy who hit the home run off of AJ Ramos.
Yeah. For you, do you remember?
That one's a little easier.
Yeah. Do you remember what pitch you hit the home run on?
Yeah, it was like a cutter up.
Okay.
Like a 88-mile-an-hour cutter up, I think. It was a 2-0 count. Okay. So.
For you, where is your sweet spot in the zone that people, at least pitchers, should try to avoid?
I don't know if I want to give that out. I'm sure there's stats all over the place
somewhere in the strike zone.
Yeah, I think it's just like a fastball that's like middle way up a little bit. I think that's my favorite. I mean, that's just what I think, and I go like look at the stats. I'm like, oh, I'm actually a lot better at this pitch than that pitch. Yeah. I don't even know,
Yeah, probably shouldn't have made you spoil that for yourself. But second to last question I wanted to ask, just in terms of getting some attention when you paid off your parents' mortgage. I mean, how cool of a moment was that for you to be able to give back to them? And I'm sure you used to get asked it a lot. I know it was a few years ago now, but having the opportunity to get drafted and such a high pick that you were fortunate enough to give back to them. How cool is that always going to be for you to do something like that?
Yeah, it's funny because I think every Christmas, like ESPN like reposts it, and I get like 1,000 more followers, and it's kind of funny. But it's something I always wanted to do. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was talking with my agent before, like you can get him a nice vacation, or but then my mom, there was one day where it just happened to come up, and like it wasn't even like she was asking for anything. It was just like I was just like, oh, I think that's a sign that I should do that.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've been through with me the whole time, supported me from day one, took me to all the games, and I definitely wouldn't be here, without their support.
Awesome. For you, just going through everything. Last question for yourself, but outside of the game of baseball, if you were to have to choose a different profession, obviously, being a baseball player, most people wouldn't have to want to choose a different scenario. But outside of baseball, what would you be doing for your career if you weren't a baseball player?
Yeah, so I just recently I've always had a financial advisor, but I've just recently gotten super interested in the stock market myself. So I would think maybe in finance somewhere. I think it's just super interesting, like, being able to like invest in certain companies and uh, yeah. So I think that
Maybe a Wall Street guy one day.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know if I could make it all the way there, but it's pretty fun to me.
Awesome. Well, I just wanted to obviously thank you for coming on. I know you're super busy with the season coming up, but thanks for taking a little time. And just wish you all the best. Going forward.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry about taking so long. You messaged me. It was I think it was now one came back and you messaged me again. I saw it, but December 10th, I got married on the 11th, and then
Oh,
went on like a
that's
two
my
week
bad.
2 week honeymoon. So like I just didn't I
Awesome.
didn't even have service out there. So
Awesome. Where,
sorry
where'd you go
about
for
that.
where'd
But
you go for your honeymoon?
so we went to the U.S. Virgin Islands. We were gonna go to Hawaii, but they were doing like a bunch of shutdowns, and
Yeah.
they were gonna make you quarantine and stuff. And we were like, oh, geez. So my wife, we originally thought we were going to Hawaii, so she never got a passport. So we were like, oh my gosh, where can we go that you don't need a passport? And U.S. Virgin Islands, you don't need one. So it was really cool. Got the island feel, the clear water and everything. So it was cool.
Awesome. Well, just congrats to you and your wife and everything. Obviously, all the success that you've had, and just wish you all the best going into the next season. Should be fun to watch.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, so that was Pavin Smith, Arizona Diamondbacks first baseman. One of the highly touted prospects for them. 7th overall pick back in 2017 out of the University of Virginia. Great guy. Definitely somebody to watch out for the Diamondbacks. Obviously, Paul Goldschmidt has moved on from the organization, so he should be primed for a lot of at bats and a lot of great success this upcoming year and the next couple of years after that too. Just with all the talent, and wish him all the best. Thanks for him for coming on. Thanks for everybody for listening to this point, and just like always, we're gonna have more episodes coming out, so keep on listening to Imperfect.